Well, we're here with Sam Parra, fighter for the Strategic Combat Academy fight team and owner of the Strategic Combat Academy in Sayreville and coach of that team, John Narleski. And I wanted to ask you guys what you think of the mixed martial arts scene in New Jersey.
My personal view of what's happened with MMA over the past few years is because of the fact that it's become more prevalent with Spike and the UFC viewer ratings being up because of the show itself. More people are getting involved with MMA not only as a spectator sport, but in the sense that they want to do it for a workout. I know from being a gym owner, everybody that comes through the door wants to be an MMA fighter. But there's a lot that goes into being an MMA fighter, not only just the fighting aspect of it, but the conditioning, the cardio, the strength conditioning, the rigorous diet. So there's a lot involved with MMA. Sam is probably the most dedicated fighter that I have out of the facility right now. He shows up, he does what I ask him to do. He does a lot of cardio and strength conditioning, and he does a lot of sparring also. Three main things that are the ingredient to becoming a really good fighter.
Sammy, how do you feel to be the first fighter to represent the Strategic Combat Academy fight team?
Be the first fighter out of the gym, it's a lot of pressure. I mean, if I walk away with the defeat, it's hard to come back and keep your head up. I mean, it's the first fight out of the gym, so I got a heavy burden with a big name. And if I win, I mean, that'll put a spot for the gym and get a bigger team, because that's really what we're looking for, is like big team, good people, some really good fighters. And we got some people here, like 3 or 4 people that are kind of like iffy on if they want to fight or not, but if they were to, I mean, they got everything. They got the skills. All they got to do is work on everything, like he said, dieting, conditioning, strength, like everything, just sparring nonstop.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got me here just like at least minimum like 4 hours a day, like Monday through Friday, and Saturday we spar. So cool. It's rough.
Excellent. John, how do you feel, having been a kickboxing champion, how do you feel to pass the torch of your legacy onto Sammy and the other members of this gym, the other members and prospective members of your fight team?
Well, I'm really excited about that. I mean, this has been a goal of mine for a long time. I've had other martial arts school before, but in the past it was, say, kiddie city. Kids drop the parents off. Yeah, pretty much that's it.
Yeah.
Kids drop the parents off, and I babysit both of them.
Yeah.
Now it's reversed. Like I was saying before, where the people that come in here are really serious about what they're doing. So that motivates me as far as passing the torch is concerned. When I did it back in the day, kickboxing really wasn't that popular of a sport. It really wasn't. And at that time, when I had retired, kickboxing was coming to an end, and the UFC was just starting to take off gradually. And that was probably 4 years before the Ultimate Fighter show itself. So I'm really excited about the fact that I have guys that come in here and they want to not only represent the gym, but represent the sport. And I think the sport itself is really just in its infancy. To me, the reason why he's doing a Sonda fight first and not MMA is because I like to groom my fighters. I want them, to me, the hardest part of the fight was walking out from either the dressing room or the locker room out into the ring and getting the nervous energy out.
Yeah.
And I want them to experience all of that and to get that out of the way. Like Sam, his first fight is a Sonda fight. His next fight will be amateur boxing. He's going to be in the New Jersey Golden Gloves. Then after that, he'll probably do some Naga Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu competitions, and then we're going to get possibly into a couple more amateur kickboxing fights, and then he's going to transition into his MMA career. I want everybody to be groomed properly and transition properly into their fighting career.
Right. Take each aspect of the sport individually and then go into MMA.
To me, that's key. I mean, that's the whole goal in this facility itself, is to have everything under one roof, where you don't have to go over here for your boxing, go over there for your wrestling, your grappling, your jiu-jitsu, or go to someplace else for your kickboxing. We do everything right here. And to me, to dissect each aspect of the individual fight game itself just to work with Vinny LeBay on the boxing. He's a magnificent boxing instructor. He's got lineage through Kevin Rooney. Everybody knows Kevin Rooney was Mike Tyson's trainer. He trained and lived with Howard Davis Jr. for 3 years. So they're from the same lineage. His boxing skills are par none. As far as I'm concerned, one of the best I've seen. He's taking guys who have zero experience. He works with them a week later. You think that they're novice fighters.
Yeah.
It's pretty amazing what he does with them. The fact that we work as an affiliate with Ademir Oliveira out of Team Oliveira, the jiu-jitsu is world-renowned. It really is. So we have top-notch jiu-jitsu instructors. I have myself taking care of the kickboxing aspect of it. And to implement all three of those ingredients and put them together, to me, is just going to make phenomenal MMA fighters.
Excellent. Now, tell me a little bit about this promotion. Like, what type of fighting are you going to be doing? And the event, I understand, is a benefit for autism. It's out in Long Island?
It's St. Catherine's High School in Long Island. It's Sonda K1 fighting. It's Muay Thai. It's like Sonda kickboxing. That's a sport itself. I didn't know that until I actually got it from the promoter. The same rules as Muay Thai, but they actually have hands. And that's why I came to this gym. As soon as I saw John, he was like, I was a kickboxer. He's like, basically, we're going to kick your ass and make you a good fighter. And I was like, sold. So, I mean, I'm watching like videos, trying to get used to like what are the rules and stuff like that. And they're throwing people out of the ring. It's a rough sport. And like he said, even now, they're like, oh, you're fighting? Like, I'm like, yeah. The K1 Sonda, they're like, what's that? Like, to this day, they still don't know what, like, some people don't know what kickboxing is.
Yeah.
And you got to explain to them, it's like boxing, but with elbows and kicks. So, I mean, and I'm, like you said, I'm glad he groomed me right, because he made sure I had good hands working with Vinny for so long, before I even got this fight, and before I even thought he would throw me into one.
Excellent. And now you got the Golden Gloves coming up, and you have other fighters on the team fighting in the Golden Gloves, too. Tell me about that, both of you, how you feel about, you know, like you said, this has everything under one roof. You know, you think when you see Strategic Combat Academy, you think mixed martial arts, yet you've got your fighters fighting in the Golden Gloves, which is sanctioned by the U.S. boxing team.
Well, you know, I didn't invent the wheel, obviously. We're not the only mixed martial arts gym in New Jersey. I know there's some quality instructors out there. I know Kirk Pellegrino has his own place. Frankie Edgar trains out of, I think it's Team Rhino, if I'm correct. I know they're reputable gyms, but we try to offer as much knowledge as we can, and like I said, on dissecting each individual aspect of the sport. The fact that we're sanctioned with the United States Muay Thai Association, now with the Amateur Boxing Association. Really excited at the fact that the guys want to represent the gym with the amateur boxing and the gloves coming up. If anything, win, lose, draw, it's excellent experience for these guys. I mean, being 45 years old myself, if I look back on my career, had I had a place like this when I was younger, I would have been that much better of a fighter. It's just a lot more interesting. It's not one-dimensional, and there's a lot more things that you could do. I mean, if you choose to just enter in jiu-jitsu tournaments and grappling tournaments, that's great. You could do that. If you want to do straight-up kickboxing, like the promotion that we're going to be fighting for this upcoming week, Sam is doing a benefit for autism. It's called KO Productions. The promoter, his name is Mike Corleone, and he used to kickbox professionally. We used to fight on a few of the same cards together. From that also, the promoter we fought for was Louis Negley, who runs the Ring of Combat. We aspire eventually to do some amateur shows for him. He runs fights out of the Capitol in Manhattan, kickboxing events, and everybody knows the Ring of Combat's down in Atlantic City, and eventually fight for the Ring of Combat with the mixed martial arts.
That's beautiful. And, you know, I wonder, Sammy, if you could just comment how, you know, John has been able to mentor you in all these different kinds of combat sports, particularly with this Sonda fight coming up.
With the Sonda fight, I came in with, like, good kicks, good elbows. I had, all Muay Thai fighters can agree, barely any hands. You usually throw the 1-2 to set up for a kick, and like elbow combos, but you're not really using like a 1-2-3 like hands or anything. And I came in, John made sure I got my hands with Vinny, going over the Knights Columbus and South River. Excellent gym to go to if you're trying to get boxing. Just made sure I had hands before he threw me in this fight.
Excellent. Great, guys. Well, all the best to you, Sammy, John. All the best with the team. And I'm looking forward to both of you guys having great success.
Thank you very much, man.